Hello, everybody. This is Alicia Monabua with Connect Mortgage Group, and I have Bobby here, who is my electrician on my team.
Nice to meet you guys. Bobby Lozano with Lozano Power Electric.
For prospective homeowners, what questions should they ask about the electrical system when purchasing a new home?
So there's a lot of main factors that I think every homeowner should go into, but one of the main things I like to ask and tell my clients to look out for is, for one, is how old is your electrical system? So they say if your panel is older than 20 to 25 years of age, that it might not be up to NEC code. And for new prospective home buyers, last thing you want is for electrical system or fire to jeopardize your new home. So I say looking at how old your electrical system is, but your panels, the wiring, the plugs. Another thing you should look out for is your grounding system. I've had a lot of times where I've gotten calls where I need to go in and help ground a whole entire house because they're getting shocked while they're in the shower, or as soon as they touch a faucet, they get shocked because it's not properly bonded to, the water and gas lines in all conjunction with the electrical system. Um, Another thing too is energy efficient. So here in California, we have something called Title 24, which requires us as contractors to be energy efficient when it comes to not only lighting, but as well as some devices. So some plugs and uh, some hardware, let's say like a fan, um, or even washer and dryers, that they need to be energy efficient to help to close the cost of electricity. Because as you all know, with inflammation in the economy, so is everything else. So it's making this hard for homeowners to be able to afford those expenses.
Yeah, that's true. Everything is, very difficult at the moment. Expenses and everything that everybody wants to do things on their own. So, what are your thoughts on the DIY electrical work,
Yeah.
and when should homeowners absolutely avoid it, or
Mhm.
what are things that they can do?
Yeah. So my biggest thing, it all depends on who you are as a person. Like if you're a proactive, you know, get your hands dirty kind of person, then when it comes to DUI stuff, you're more than welcome to do it on your own. But my best advice is to consult, a C10 contractor like myself or any electrical contractor to make sure you're doing it safe. Because there's been some times where I've gotten calls towards a client tried doing their own electrical and they ended up getting shocked. They ended up burning something out, and so I had to come back and help them. And then, you know, I also show them how to do it the next time, because one thing I want is for our clientele and for future people to understand is how to save money. And if you can do something like yourself, I'm not gonna spend that extra money. So um, it really depends on just how proactive you want to be and how fast you want to get it done. But again, if you ever second guess yourself, we're a phone call away to take care of it.
Yeah, definitely. We always want to help our clientele, even after the point of home purchasing or closing those documents. And, we're here for a lifetime. We want to be on your team.
Mhm.
And so, along those lines of, doing things yourself and making the improvements in your home, when a homeowner is considering electrical upgrades or renovations, what is
Mhm.
something that they should keep in mind?
And the biggest thing I tell is their panel size. So, especially when you're renovating and you're wanting to add a whole lot more, shinier equipment, more fancier equipment, a lot of that requires power. And so, usually, a typical household is about 100 amps. But now, these new construction buildings are starting to come in at 200 amps. And reason being is because now you have solar systems in place, and not only that, electric car vehicle chargers. Um, and so a lot of these new houses being built in our company, we've done nothing but 200 as a minimum. If you have a 100 amp, you can get away with it, but occasionally you might come into a situation where you're consuming too much power, and you might have a breaker trip, and then especially if you do get into the electrical vehicle industry or you want solar, you might not have enough room, and it's going to be costly um, trying to get it done after the fact. So this is the first thing I'd say is your panel, and then soonly after that is just again is how energy efficient are the appliances that you have to help cut that cost down.
Oh, okay.
So,
Yeah, thank you. A lot of us are definitely looking into energy efficiency because, like I said, inflation.
yeah, killer.
Exactly. So, along the lines of energy efficiency upgrades, what are some other things that people are looking into besides, solar panels?
Yeah. So another thing to help with energy efficient is a lot of for at least for lighting, they have occupancy sensors. So, for example, in bathrooms, right where your switch is going to be at, there's a motion sensor there. So that way, the bathroom light, if you get to turn it on, will go off on its own. Or not only that, but they have a lot of control systems now in these newer homes that you can do everything from your phone. So if you want to set timers for certain areas of your house to turn off or on, you can do so. Same thing with your exterior lighting. We have something called photocells. So if you don't want your light on all the time or you forget to turn it on and off, with the photocell, you're able to have the light on, be at dark, and then as soon as they sense his light, it'll go off for you, so you don't have to do it yourself. So there's a lot of stuff in the electrical industry that is rising that not only are you able to do it through your phone, but do it without having to think about it. So
Wow.
it's one less thing to worry about
Man,
in your home.
that's crazy. I never even knew about that. You can just do it from your phone. I mean,
Yeah,
like, your phone is always in your hand.
exactly. No, that's crazy. It's crazy what they do now.
So today everybody is looking into new construction,
Hmm.
and you hear some negative things, but of course there's some good benefits about it. When building a new home, what should homeowners look for in terms of electrical wiring, new technologies, like you said,
Yeah.
with the sensors and such?
Exactly. So, like I mentioned earlier, again, the biggest thing is making sure you have at least 200 amps. I can tell you, someone who likes to do a lot of DIY stuff, a lot of their new equipment, new ovens, air fryers, all of that takes a lot of juice. So, you're going to make sure you want to have at least a 200 amp panel. And not only that, is you want to have a lot of spaces in that 200 amp panel. So, eventually, let's say I want to buy a Tesla, I can install a Tesla charger without having to worry about upgrading my panel.
Mm.
Another thing too is having a company come out to do a system that I mentioned. So if you call
Mhm.
us, we can more than happy to install a system like that. So you can do everything off of your phone and making sure it's Title 24 compliant and it's energy efficient, therefore cutting your costs down, and including that with solar too. So we also do solar as well,
Okay.
and it does help out in the long run. And I think definitely good investment for a new home buyer and new construction.
Wow, that's awesome. So, you know, with everything going on in the world today, we're also seeing in our generation of age,
Mhm.
most of us are creating our own businesses, or, creating our own brand, and just going out there and trying to be better than the previous
Generation,
generation.
yes,
Instead of being just workers, we're trying to be the next leaders of
exactly.
the world. And so, with creating our own businesses, also comes with commercial buildings.
Hmm.
You also mentioned to me as we were getting our Phil's coffee, how do you manage client expectations and maintain strong relationships with commercial clients?
Yeah. So the first thing it starts with is with the client's vision. So I love having weekly meetings with all of my clientele, and we have these meetings to go over, before any project, what expectations are they wanting to see, based off the plans of what they want done to their commercial building. And so that way it tells me and lets me know what I need to, help fill in and exceed at ultimately. So being proactive and having those meetings, doing, checkups and making sure that communication between me and the clientele is key, because at that point they can tell me if they want something extra, something taken off. So it really starts off with the client's vision and what they want to do, and from there that's like the blueprint for me, and from there I execute, and you know 1,000 times out of 10 it always goes well and they want more. So yeah.
That's good. That's
Hmm.
great to hear. You also mentioned about helping out in Texas as a future goal. So tell me a little bit about that. That's
Yeah.
very exciting.
The general contract that I've been working for, we just finished building a Harbor Freight in Fremont. So if you're on Mission Boulevard, everyone passes by it to go to a Niner game. You can see it. Our company was able to help a client fix that out. And um, as you start to build your network, I've only been in 2 years in the business and the electrical trade as a licensed contractor. So as you get on, you start to build a network and stuff. And our company has done a good job at exceeding expectations. And so because of that, we've been given an opportunity to have a job out in Texas. And like I mentioned to our other owner and the rest of our team, that we're looking to also to expand. It all starts with having goals.
Mhm.
Having short-term goals, long-term goals, and best believe it. We're going to be everywhere, all over the United
Mhm.
States, and hopefully, we'll go overseas too. So why stop there? The
Exactly.
sky's the limit. You just got to go out, go get it.
There you go.
Hmm.
I love that. As our generation is getting older, sadly, we all get older, so we're doing things hopefully in the right way,
Yes.
and
Hmm.
just got to keep going.
Yeah.
So what advice do you have for your clients when planning a commercial electrical
Yeah.
project. So, say for example, you're just starting out, you have your name, you have your business license, you're ready to go, but
Mhm.
then this building is kind of old or something. So,
Exactly. So biggest thing as well is hiring, a qualified general contractor. So we're also in the mix of getting that too. So even if you need general consulting, not electrical specific, you're more than welcome to contact us and we'll get you in the right direction and getting that forward. So having a right general contractor to help, break down everything, because what a commercial client might not know, as a general contractor, we see everything from every trade: plumbing,
mhm,
HVAC, framing, you name it, stucco work, all all the plethora that involves a commercial building and what needs to get done to renovate it, and all the trials and tribulations that come along with it, because it is, like a can of worms when it comes to tenant improvements.
mhm.
But again, with our company, we specialize in that stuff. We like the hard stuff because no one else wants to do it, so we come in and fill those shoes and take care of it. And again, clients always left happy. So just having that team, again, communication is key. Having that team and your ambitions and what their vision is. It all goes hand in hand, and having um, a successful project
Mhm.
get done.
As for residential and commercial, we always want to maintain something, because we feel like the value in that, you don't want to spend money again and again,
Yeah.
especially when you don't maintain something.
Mhm.
With what regular maintenance should commercial building owners perform on their electrical systems, and
Yeah.
how can commercial building owners stay proactive about their maintenance?
Yeah. So one thing I also like to tell my commercial clientele, and this can same principles follow residential, is checking your emergency systems and backup systems. So a lot of these systems are starting to have battery backup, especially with lighting,
Mm,
and so and also just using your equipment yourself. You never know if it's gonna keep working unless you use it.
mhm,
So proactive things is just as simple as checking to make sure the plug is still working, um, turning off the breaker on and off to make sure it won't trip or it might get stuck or maybe it's not working at all.
mhm,
Another thing too is our company, we offer twice a year, we offer wealth checks. We're going to check in on the systems, and if the clientele has any comments, questions, or concerns, again, we'll be able to answer that for them and take care of them at at no cost, because we believe in our integrity and our work is top notch. So,
mhm.
um, and just again, being able to communicate with the client and whatever they need to know, and be able
Yeah.
to do it like that.
So, Bobby, tell me a little bit about, either why you started the business or how you got into it.
Yeah. So why I started this business is, um, this is during COVID, and keep in mind I was going to school to be an orthopedic surgeon. I've been
Mm,
wanting to do that since I first tore my knee when I was like 11, 12 years old. Um, and I started reading books about becoming financially literate. So I don't know if you guys heard Rich Dad Poor Dad
oh,
by
yeah.
Robert Kiyosaki. If it wasn't for that book, I'd be going to medical school right now.
Mm,
And that was a book and the catalyst that helped me think from a different perspective. And like, you know what? Like, I want to become financially free,
mhm,
and not only financially free is like, you know, I don't have much time because there's people dying left and right. People close to me who had passed away, who, I thought they'd be in my life forever. So with that coming into perspective, and my own health, I was the heaviest I ever was, and back then, and I just wasn't in a good place. And so after I started reading books on becoming financially literate and working on personal development, that really opened my eyes. Like, you know what? I don't want to work for someone the rest of my life.
mhm.
Who am I if I'm not doing what I'm doing? I want to be able to leave a legacy, so for my family, and break that generational curse.
Right.
If why else are we here to do it?
Yeah.
Our parents want better for us, so it's only right that we go out and go get after it.
Mhm,
And so, as soon as I was able to, after I got all my credentials I needed, um, obviously I moved. I was in San Diego at the time, but I moved back because I have more connections out here. And from there, I was like, you know what, like, what's there to lose?
mhm.
If it fails, I mean, you don't ever truly fail. It's either, when you fail, it's more of a lesson. You don't ever truly fail,
Right.
and it's throughout that, that pain and hardship, like a diamond in the rough. With all that pressure, you're gonna come out a diamond.
Exactly.
So, and again, it's a universal principle I think all of us can use to help better ourselves, and especially being the oldest. I want to be able to take care of all my siblings, and
Mhm.
I want me to be the role model so that way they can follow in their own footsteps and be able to be successful in whatever venture they turn into. So, um, again, to bring it back around and why I started it is for those reasons. You know,
Mhm.
I can make it whatever money in the world, but what we can't buy is time.
Mhm.
You know, I don't want to be stuck working 9 to 5. You know, especially as an orthopedic surgeon, to be working crazy 80 hours a week. I wouldn't be making bank until I'm like 32.
Right.
You
Because what
know,
school debts and stuff like
exactly
that.
a
Mhm.
$250,000 in debt. I'd be stuck paying. Like I probably wouldn't be 35, and I, you know, that's like 15, 17 years of my life that I could have been used to, do something else that to help with that. So
Mhm.
it really got to put that into perspective.
Right.
And again, I think all of us can take those principles. Understanding what assets and liabilities are, understanding how cash flow works, and the potential of starting your own business, just doing what you love to do.
Mhm.
At the end of the day, why do it if you're not happy?
Yeah.
The
Exactly.
pursuit of happiness that ties into becoming financially free and having that time. And
Mhm.
again, and when I have kids, I want to be able to, take them to their soccer games or, football games. I want to be able to spend that time because, growing up, my parents always worked.
Mhm.
I didn't have much time, and if I did, it was only for such a short amount of time. So, and with everything going on in the world, it's like we're never promised tomorrow.
Right.
So do what I can now to become financially literate, so I can have that time.
Mhm.
And so, hence where I'm at today, and you know, and same thing here.
Yeah.
We're trying to build the next generation and show them, because obviously back in our parents' time and our grandparents' time,
Yep.
a degree and um, would mean something, but nowadays it's just paperweight
Mhm.
and it's a lot of debt.
Yeah.
So having to adapt and find your own way in this world is even harder. So,
Mhm.
but again, without it, it's like I'd probably be lost.
Yeah.
So that's my way.
There you
How I
go.
do that.
Well, now everybody knows your why.
Exactly.
And where can everybody find you? Like social media, website,
Yeah.
phone number.
So I have a personal, and then I have my electrical. So if you see my electrical account, it's bl.electric and the underscore. So that's where I post all the behind the scenes of electrical, like tools, how to videos, how to bend conduit or how to troubleshoot. My personal b.lozano underscore underscore. I don't post much. I should get out there more, but
You got this.
hopefully this is like a stepping stone towards that. As Alicia has been giving me up on social media presence and having to market yourself, because that also plays a role in today's society. As I mentioned earlier,
Mhm.
it's that image that takes you far, and it's about who you know.
Mhm.
It doesn't matter how much you know; it's about who you know in today's society. And as you can tell, like that Texas job,
Mhm.
and having that network, it's who you know. Had I not known that,
Right.
I wouldn't have a job, that's paying X amount.
Mhm.
Only in Texas,
That's amazing.
I'd still be without a job, or for the guys at least, So um, it's about building that network.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely. It's so amazing to hear, being the next generation, being the ones like, dude, we're adults now.
yeah,
We're adults. We're making
yeah.
it happen,
We
and
pay
just
taxes, you know what I'm
yes.
saying?
So being
Bills.
financially, literate, educated, it's really key because
Hmm.
something that I've learned is that my parents don't even know what I know now.
Yeah,
Not saying they didn't teach me nothing because they set the foundation for me.
exactly.
And so I think I still give them props. And of course, you have to go out and do it yourself.
Yeah,
You have to have the drive. Get, if you want to learn something, go learn it. Don't blame somebody else about, oh, you didn't teach me this, you didn't teach me
yeah,
that, it's your fault. But we definitely want to have the grit, go for the grind. Everything is going to be hard. You're broke,
exactly.
it's hard.
It's
You
hard.
have money, it's hard. You have kids, it's hard. You don't, it's still hard. So
Exactly,
pick one.
exactly, and
Pick the hard that you want and the way you see your life going.
exactly.
You
And
know?
I bring up a book by David Goggins. I don't know if you guys heard of him, but it's his book about personal development, and just life is pain, life is suffering, but it's what you make out of it that determines and how you come out of that. Because if it was easy, all of us would do it. We'd all be millionaires.
Mm-hmm.
We'd all be sipping pina coladas in Mexico. You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
it's about how bad do you really want it? How bad, the struggle. Embrace it. You know what I mean? Like again, if life was easy, again, everyone would be doing it. But
Exactly.
it's those who choose to go out there and get their knees dirty. You know what I mean? And
Mm-hmm.
really go out and get after it that are going to come out on top. And again, everyone's different. Everyone's timeline is different.
Mm-hmm.
So you can be 30, 40 years old and maybe still trying to figure it out. But again, don't let that defer you from doing what you want to love and to
Right.
becoming financially free. You know, like, and I bring college up as an example for people who aren't in a trained profession. Where I know people who are 30, 40 years old, and they still don't have it figured out. And I know people who are our age
Mm-hmm.
who've gotten a degree and now they're working like at Starbucks,
Yep.
but and they got a degree and now they have student loan debt. And
Mm-hmm.
um, so really, you got to go out and get after it and do what you love to do. Don't just do it because
Right.
your mom and dad wants you to do it. Don't just do it because so and so said so. Do it because you truly want to do it
Mm-hmm.
and you feel like you're gonna come out a better person. Like
Mm-hmm.
for me, I went to college and I dropped out. Yes, I dropped out, but with that experience, it taught me so much about life and so much about myself that without it, I wouldn't be here today.
Right.
So I wouldn't say it was totally a waste of money. So it really just depends on you. But I think it's something that, again, it's a universal principle that I think we all can use and share. And not only that, to be able to help others too, to
Mm-hmm.
give back.
Right.
I have a lot of people who are starting to come to us, and especially real estate professionals as
Mm-hmm.
well, looking for advice to help the next generation build that up. So I'm all here for it, because there's plenty of work, there's plenty of money us to go around. So
Mm-hmm.
why not help build that? And it all starts off with our inner circle, with our family,
Yep.
our
Yep.
siblings, uh, and having to get us to build that foundation, like you mentioned, to
Mm-hmm.
help us better ourselves. So that way, again, our kids, and our kids will be taken care of.
Mm-hmm.
And
Exactly.
yeah,
And there's one quote that I've heard before. It's cliche, even though there's cliches. Okay, I'm probably not saying this right, but
yeah,
it's saying basically cliches are cliches because it's true.
hmm,
So, say for example, you hear do the thing that you love or get comfortable with being uncomfortable. It's a
hmm,
cliche because it's true.
it's true.
And I didn't realize that until I started in the mortgage industry. And maybe you've seen the same thing,
Hmm.
you hear, oh, they always say do what you love, but how do you know what you really love? You have
Yeah,
to go
go
through
out.
life. You have to, yeah, go out,
Exactly, go out.
do things and just experience.
Exactly. And I think that's why, the older you get, the more wisdom you get.
Mm-hmm.
So just going through life, even if you've gone through life all but failing, all it takes is that one time for you to get up to that next level and make it big. If you look at all these entrepreneurs out in the world, like
Mm-hmm.
um, like Elon Musk, like a lot of these big entrepreneurs, they didn't get their big start until like 30, 40 years
Yep.
old. I mean, not saying that you're going to be that old to get to it, but it can happen at any moment. You just got to
Mm-hmm.
be persistent and you got to be disciplined.
Mm-hmm.
Again, it all ties into your personal development and how bad you want it. And I feel like that's such a big thing, and especially in our age group and our generation, is working on your personal development. Because
Definitely.
without that, it's like you're walking without knowing what direction to go to.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like that really goes hand in hand with trying to figure out what you love to do most and help others to get to there.
Definitely.
Hmm.
All right. Well, that was it for today.
Yes,
And this is again Bobby, the electrician,
yes,
who's
sir.
also going to be a contractor. So that's awesome.
Yeah. So whatever
And
you guys need, I specialize in electrical, but I specialize in everything else as well. So um, give me, Alicia, a call. I'd be more than happy to help you with any of your commercial or residential plans, and be happy to take care of you.
yep. All right. That's it.